This episode, we're actually doing a review video. A little bit odd, I don't generally do that. So, you may remember a couple episodes back, I had stumbled across a cool microscope online and thought, wow, this thing looks like it would actually be great for stamps. To look at minute details and help differentiate stamp types and variations and whatnot. Well, apparently one of the manufacturers of TOMLOV brand microscopes saw my video and offered to send me a free sample. So, wow, thanks TOMLOV. That was unexpected, and I haven't unboxed it yet. I have it here right in front of me. So we're gonna check it out together. I want to take it out of the box, set it up, see what's going on with it. It is a $130 microscope. It's on Amazon. I will have the links in the description to their official website and the Amazon link if you want to buy it there. This thing is sweet. It's got a 10.1 inch screen. It's an IPS screen, and I think it's 20 megapixels. It can record video. It can take photos. You are supplied with a 64 gigabyte SD card, so you can save your videos and photos. Also, you're able to connect it to your laptop or TV if you would like to view what you're seeing on a larger screen, which is something that they emphasize. However, I honestly feel like the 10-inch screen on this thing is probably going to be more than sufficient to see little details that we're after on these stamps. So yeah, let's set it up, take a look at it, and then perhaps I was thinking of going through some common stamps to see if we can help tell what type they are using the microscope, if it's advantageous. Just to put it out there, I'm not sponsored. This is my honest opinion of this microscope. By the way, it is mainly marketed as a coin error microscope or for soldering, those kinds of things. But as I was saying in my prior video, when I found these, I have every expectation this would be fantastic for stamps. So anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in and check it out. Also, while I'm unboxing it, I'm going to go ahead and read off some of the details about this guy from the Amazon website. Alright, so this one is the TOMLOV DM9 Max, boasting a 10.1 inch HD IPS screen. IPS, by the way, I believe the point of that is it means the colors pop pretty well. So it's a digital microscope offering 1500 power zoom. It goes from 5 to 1500. It's 20 megapixels, and you could find just about any use for this thing that you can think of, though it's marketed as a coin microscope or for soldering. I mean, anything that you can use a microscope for, here you go. This should fit the bill. Now, it has 10 LED lights. There are 8 lights coming out of the actual microscope itself, and then we have the 2 gooseneck LED lights on the side. It is made from an aluminum alloy. It has a real angle of view of 178 degrees. And then one of the better things about it is that it can be hooked up to a larger screen, so it's PC and TV compatible. So if the 10.1 inch screen was not enough for you, then you could easily hook it up to your HD TV and get a gigantic view of whatever you want to see. Now, as far as connectivity is concerned, it has USB-C and HDMI. They do supply you with a 64 gigabyte SD card, so you can store your videos and images. There are multiple resolutions for the photos, but for the video, which is specifically what I would use it for myself, they offer 1080p or 720p. It has a 12.6-inch stand with a larger base. Now, when I compare this to a lot of different microscopes I did look at already on Amazon, that is definitely a taller stand than many of them have. So that may be advantageous. Let's see, it does come with a wireless remote, which is great. You can adjust magnification using the remote itself, and you can record the videos or snap photos using the remote. It comes with a rechargeable battery. It says that it lasts up to 3 working hours. Okay, so I've pretty much got this thing set up at this point. Now, I want to mention it comes with this. You say, well, what is that, Kyle? Well, according to the directions, this is a light reflector for soldering. So, sorry, that's kind of dark. You would screw this onto the actual face of the microscope itself if you were doing soldering, and it stops. I'm sure this is to help inhibit the bright light from soldering, from messing with the quality of your videos. So I shouldn't actually need this, but but it looks like it just screws on or pops on a little light reflector. Okay, that explains that piece. Now, something that I do want to mention, which I did see in one of the reviews, the actual charger that would plug into an outlet is not included. Somebody was actually quite upset about that in the review. They're like, "What the heck? I pop $130 on a microscope. They give me the cables, but no charger, no wall outlet charger." So I have to be honest when I say that is a little bit lame. I wish that they had that. They easily could have included that. Those are not expensive. You know, we all generally have a bunch of them sitting around that we don't use. I do. I have a whole tub full of them. So now, something that I just ran into is I had to get an extension cord. Sorry, this thing's a little dirty and nasty looking, but I had to pull out an extension cord so it would reach up here onto my desk for these 2 cables, right? One's for the lights, one's for the screen. Okay, so however you would want to do that, it's a USB, plain old regular USB to USB-C is what connects into the device. So you'll need either a adapter, a charger that has 2 USB outlets, or you'll need, like I have here, 2 chargers that each have their own USB. Okay, and this way everything's all plugged in and I'm ready to go. So while it's not actually ideal to have this kind of, you know, ball of wires up on my desk, I'm sure with time I would, like if I were to dedicate a space of my desk, like a corner of my desk to this thing, that I could get the appropriate cables I need to make everything tidy and nice and out of my way. But for the sake of this video, since this is my initial setup, you know, I'm just going to leave it all kind of splayed out on my desk. You can see I've got a cable here. This is actually the HDMI. Now, this is something that I do want to mention because I did not expect this. I just went into one of my tubs and pulled out a kind of generic HDMI cable that was twice as long as the one that they supplied. But it didn't work because the one that they supply has one end that isn't just a regular HDMI. It's like a mini HDMI or something. It's smaller than a standard HDMI. That's what actually plugs into the TV port. So me being unfamiliar with what that exact connection is called, I'm going to call it a mini HDMI. I just don't know what it is, but that's what it looks like. It's just a smaller HDMI. So I kind of have to use their cable. Well, their cable is, I'm going to say, probably 4 feet, something like that. Luckily for me, it just so happens I am able to plug it into the side of my computer monitor over there. So it's sufficient, it works. But yeah, I have a cable kind of strung across my way here, but that's okay. So I've got the cables plugged in. I've got my little 64 gigabyte SD card. I'm going to pop this in little tiny slot on the side, okay, right there. And we're going to click that in. Cool. So now I should have everything set up. If you guys didn't know, if you didn't see in the video, I'm not sure how I'm going to record all this, to be frank, how this video will end up. But you screw the stand in, literally just screw it into the base here, and then you tighten it with this little ring. And then you slip the whole monitor and microscope assembly into the stand in this ring, and then you tighten it with two little screws. Sorry, little screw. You just finger tight, and then you can do that on the other side as well. Another little screw. You just tighten that. That secures the monitor into the stand, and then from here it's fully adjustable. So actually, let me change my camera angle so you can see what's going on. Okay, so I'm actually going to freehand this because I struggle. My setup here isn't really meant to do reviews. It's just to look at stamps on a table. So here are our little lights. Okay. Adjustable goosenecks. We've got it plugged into the back for our base charger. Okay. Then there is the base light dial right there, so we can adjust that. Whoopsie. Which turns the lights brighter or dimmer. Pretty cool. Okay, let's just leave them on because what the heck, I've got it plugged in so I don't have to worry about the battery life. So there is this pivot point down here at the bottom. That actually makes it really easy to adjust this thing forward or backward. There's no, you don't have to turn the screw. It seems to be the right tension. So this thing is quite adjustable just holding that. So there's one adjustment there at that pivot point. Then you have the knobs, which will raise and lower the whole microscope. Okay, so that works. You can use either knob depending on which hand you would like, and they both do the same thing, raise and lower the microscope. I mean, each knob, there's one on each side. Okay, so then the screen itself can be tilted. Okay, you can do just the screen like this, okay, which is actually quite nice. Feels pretty smooth, pretty easy. Hey, look, there's a guy in there. Hey, buddy. Hey. So that generally, I think, is going to be most all of the adjustments. You can tilt this rod. Oops, sorry, a little weird with one hand. Tilt the rod, go up and down. You tighten it with this. If you like, when you choose your position here, cinch that down a little with your fingers. Yeah, then you can tilt the screen. So it actually is quite adjustable, I have to say. It all feels good. I'm noticing this thing actually rocking a little bit in this holder, and I'm not quite sure why that is. Maybe I didn't secure it well enough. Yeah, I think I need to get that flat. This is going to take two hands, but I'm going to need to hold that down flat and then tighten the two little nuts on the sides. Whoopsie, there you go. Okay. Okay, so I've gotten it flush and then tightened the two nuts. Boom. We're all good to go there. Or bolts. By the way, I noticed it does come with a little screen protector film. I'm going to go ahead and peel that off. Ah, doesn't that feel good? Okay. So, the power button here, you're going to push from the bottom, hold it for a sec, and it will turn on. Okay. Boom. TOMLOV. More than a microscope. Now, I popped a Washington stamp under there, and I thought this would be a great example of a stamp, a great stamp to showcase, checking different types. Because if you're familiar with these Washington stamps, there's a bunch of different types depending on the configuration of the triangles and the corners and whatnot. So that's a pretty good one to start with. Now, looking at this guy, the M button, that's your mode. You can switch from, you'll see the little recorder up there, that's video. You can switch to photo. And then this is your playback. So this is where you can watch all of the photos and videos you've recorded. Okay. So, photo there. This button is to invert the screen. Should you desire to do so, you can. Okay. Let's see. From what I understand, these are, I don't know what both of these are. One of these is the charging indicator. It should turn green when it's fully charged, and that would be, it said it's red when it's charging, and it's green when it's fully charged. Well, I see purple, maybe that means that it's plugged in. Not sure, to be frank, but it does tell you your battery life up here in the corner. It tells you what setting you're on as far as recording. I'm on 1080, and so what else is there to say? Got OK, up, down, that's for your menu and whatnot. I don't know what happens if you just press nothing. What happens when I press OK? Oh, OK started a recording. Alright, well, I hadn't actually read that yet in the directions, so it looks like we're recording right now, and we'll be able to see how this turns out. So let's stop. I'm assuming we'll press OK again. Yes. Okay, then let's switch mode to playback. Hey, there's our video. So let me hit OK. And do we hit OK again to play? Yes. Now I can't actually hear anything, but this is the video that we just recorded moments ago. Interesting. By the way, other things. There is a, so let's switch back to video. Okay, we're back to video. There's a brightness dial here on the side, so let's see what that does. Don't see any major significant difference here, at least that I can tell with the naked eye. Let's switch to photo. Try it. I'm not sure if it's doing much, to be honest, but I'm not really stressed about that. Not a big deal. Yeah, I'm going up and down. I can't really tell much at all, frankly, but that is supposedly a brightness dial. I thought it would do something. Jesus, what the? Okay. You know, just to emphasize, guys, I mean, this is literally, I'm figuring this out as I go. So this is all brand new to me. So there is the remote that came with it. Okay. The remote has, let me get some better lighting. Looks like record video, photo, has a menu button. This should be the focus up and down, and then I guess a playback button right there. So while I have been recording this video, it looks like this light went from, I think it was purple. Now it's looking a little bit more green. Kind of looks like a green, almost teal. But anyways, other things. So apparently there is a microphone here on the bottom of the screen. There's a little hole. That's where your mic is. Now, you may have noticed in that video playback you couldn't hear any audio. That kind of gave me an epiphany that that's right, I actually haven't seen anything here in the directions that it has its own speaker. So if you recorded something and you wanted to simply play it back and hear it, you're not going to be able to hear it, at least through this device itself. I'll have to see if, when I do it on the TV screen, if it does have audio during playback or not. But apparently there's no speaker on this device. So that's just one thing to note. That would have been a nice feature, but I don't think it's totally necessary, to be frank. And also, I don't really feel like most people will actually be using this for the recording. If, you know, if for a stamp collector, you're more than likely simply going to be using it for the microscope aspect, right? But were you ever to want to record and listen on the playback, yeah, there's no audio. So just keep that in mind. If you were in photo mode, hitting OK will snap a photo, by the way. So here we are in photo mode. Let's give it a shot. Boom. Snapped a photo. So now if we go into playback, I should also have, cool, just my photo that we took. And there you go. Interesting. All relatively simple. It's pretty intuitive. It's not bad. I actually like it so far. Also, just to mention, I do see right here in the directions that I have in front of me, for this reflective light fixture here, you'll simply unscrew the protective lens off and then screw that on. So that's how you do that. It screws on and off. Sorry, it's called a reflective hood. Okay, so I just figured out the dial. So I turned off the LED lights, which is a little dial on the back, right? So if you turn those off and then use the screen dial, you can clearly tell it makes a difference. Okay, so I'm kind of going to just leave everything on maximum brightness because I feel like that's probably the best for looking at stamps, just to illuminate things as well as you possibly can. Yeah, this one's for the main LED lights, which would be the 8 coming directly out of the microscope, and then that other dial on the back of the base is for the 2 LED side lights, as they call them. Okay, so apparently when you're in, they call this actually file mode, not playback. So you got video, photo, and file. Those are the 3 modes with the M button. Well, when you are looking at a file, let's say we want to choose this one here, our video we took, we'll hit OK. If you wanted to delete or protect the file, you hold the M button for 2 seconds. It'll pop up a little screen that says, do you want to delete it or do you want to protect it? Well, let's say I want to delete it, so hit OK. You can delete all or delete the current. I'm going to delete the current. You sure you want to erase it? You just switch over to OK. Easy enough, honestly. Not horrible. You know, these are the kind of little things that you'll get used to. If you use this a lot, it will become like second nature. By the way, one, I think maybe final little feature to mention, there is a reset button. So you'll need to get a paper clip or something really, really tiny to press into that reset hole, and you can reset the whole microscope if it were to crash or fail or something like that. Okay, so I wanted to go ahead and try out the monitor function. So I went ahead and plugged in my HDMI. I've got it routed over to my computer screen, and I had to change it. It turned out to be HDMI 3 was the input on the screen, but wow, I can actually see everything on my giant 55-inch monitor. And let's see here, you know, it should all be real time. Yep, I moved the stamp, it moves on the screen. So let's say with my setup here, I don't have a monitor behind this, but you know, I could move this microscope over to the front of my desk and be looking at it in real time on this gigantic screen right in front of my face, which would probably be even easier than using the TOMLOV screen. But quite frankly, like I was saying, I think the 10 inches is huge, and so if you want to get rid of that, just go ahead and pop this cable out, which of course it doesn't want to just come out. Okay, and it'll switch back. So that's all actually really straightforward. I mean, honestly, that is pretty cool. So I could record videos and then watch it on my TV. I could use it in real time on my TV if I wanted. All of that totally works. It's really, really cool. Honestly, it's freaking cool. I definitely like that about this. So, you know, I could just think, like, if I was a teacher, you know, and I, after school, took a video of, you know, some, you know, a leaf or something and was looking at the cells on a leaf, you know, I can make my recording and then I can just play it back through the TV. All of that's really, really cool. Honestly, it's just technology, you know. I mean, this stuff is neat. This is the the evolution. This could be the evolution of stamp collecting. Just using something like this, it's really, really cool. So then I was thinking, I was looking at this stamp. Gosh, look at how bad the perfs are. Horrible perfs on this stamp. Gosh, they are so nasty looking. And I have to admit, having this screen in front of me 100% gives me a better view than a magnifying glass. There is no doubt about it that this is superior to the old-fashioned magnifying glass, without question. So it's clear, it's nice, I can adjust it. Now, one thing that I haven't really messed with is too much is they say 1500 power. Well, I assume that means that when I get closer like this, that's probably going to be the difference here. So I'm going to keep bringing it down. I want to get really close up on this thing, which is pushing the lights out of the way, so you'll have to readjust those, apparently. I'm going to get up closer. Let's see if we can get an even more detailed view here. Not sure if I'm going the right way or the wrong way. Apparently the wrong way. So that's maxed out. Yeah, this isn't working. I must be too close? I guess I'm too close. Okay. I did go all the way down there, so let's raise it up a bit. Hey, okay, we're getting there. Still a little bit too far down. Raise it up even more. Wow. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Interesting. So that's actually really nice. That's definitely up close. Very similar to the other one that I have here. It actually looks like the same kind of microscope, literally, just kind of built into the screen that I have. So this is pretty much the detail I was able to see with the other one. Now, I just want to raise it up a little bit more just for fun. See, I have this maxed out now, so I'm going to back off a little. Yeah, so you can just kind of tweak it. I mean, gosh, guys, look, I can see the ink spots, This is very, very nice. Overall, I said I'm going to give my honest opinion. Honestly, this is really, really nice. Some things on certain stamps, it's like a real pain in the butt to get a good look at it. And I just feel like this is going to be potentially quite a beautiful thing, So, anyways, what I want to get into is, now that we've kind of gone over the microscope, I'm going to do some screen recordings, and I should actually be able to simply use the microscope alone. Let's see if we can figure out what type this Washington stamp is. Actually, first, I'm here in the catalog. I get confused sometimes. So this is not the Washington Franklin variety that I always get mixed up with. I actually have a bookmark here for. Actually, I have several tools for the Washington Franklin stamps. So these are a little different. These ones have the wreaths and the design. Well, in the catalog, the one that I'm looking at in front of us is an A88 design. No wreaths on this one. But it does have, the different triangle types. So here we go, triangle type A, or triangle A, type 1 for this 2 center. Type 1, it says horizontal lines of the groundwork run across the triangle and are the same thickness within and without. Okay, so these lines are the same and they run through the triangle. Type B, the horizontal lines cross the triangle but are thinner within. Okay, you can tell actually on this one, thinner or not. Okay. Triangle C, type 3 and 4. Type 3, The horizontal lines do not cross the double lines of the triangle. Interesting. So you can see right there, the lines don't actually cross that, whereas in this one they do. They cross this space, the double line. Okay. This says the lines within the triangle are thin, as in type 2. Interesting. So it doesn't cross the barrier here, the double line, and they're thin compared to the outer lines. All right. And then type 4. Type 4 is from a new die with many major and minor design variations, including recutting and re-lengthening of the hairline. Shaded toga button. It's number 2, which is right there. Okay. 3, strengthening of the lines on the sleeve. Okay. 4, additional dots on ear. Okay. 5, the T of the 2 is straight at the right. Oh my gosh. 6, background lines extend into the white oval opposite of U in United. The background lines extend into white oval opposite of the U. Interesting. With a whole bunch of, it says many other further differences exist. Jeez. My goodness, type 4 over here. Yikes. Well, anyways, this is just a perfect example of the different types of this triangle. So, anyways, using this catalog here, I'm going to try and go and see if we can determine what type this is. When I look in the book that I took this out of, the gentleman says it's a type 4, according to him. So let's see if we can verify that. Okay, so here I am using the TOMLOV. Let's see what kind of quality the audio seems to give, and I can tell the video looks great so far already. So looking at this triangle here. So first thing that I'm looking at is, are the lines outside of the triangle the same thickness on the inside? The answer is no. In my opinion, they definitely look thicker outside of the triangle than on the inside. Also, the next thing I'm noticing by just looking at this is the lines outside do not run through the double border of the triangle itself. So, I think we can safely say it's not a type 1. Type 1 was that the lines are the same thickness in and out of the triangle, and they also ran through the double border of the triangle, so it's definitely not a type 1. Type 2, the horizontal lines cross the triangle but are thinner inside. Well, these lines don't run across the double border of the triangle, so it's definitely not a type 2. So we're on to type 3 or 4 is what we can already rule out. You know, type 1 and 2 are definitely not it. It's either 3 or 4. Type 3 says that they don't cross the double lines of the triangle. And the lines within the triangle are thin. Just like type 2. So I'm buying into all that. That sounds like we could have a type 3. Okay, so this took me down a little rabbit hole that I wasn't expecting. It has been quite a while since I messed around with these Washington types from, what was it, 1894. So holy moly. And 1894 and onward, I guess. So turns out, so for a long time, there was only 3 types. And then eventually they came out with a type 4. Okay. So type 3 and 4 have the exact same triangle. So that's a done deal. Now, we have here, thank God for stampsmarter.org, a differentiator? Holy moly. 2 main ones that seem to be
unanimously agreed upon as the easiest ways to determine whether you have type 3 or 4 is the first two here on this list: the line in the hair and the toga button. So, yeah, shout out to Stamp Smarter and this whole US Stamps 1847 USA part that they have. Man, this thing is so useful. It gets a little confusing and it's kind of hard. I just had to search for a while to find this. So I want to share what I went through here. So for one thing, you go to Stamp Smarter. Okay, let's go all the way back. So Stamp Smarter, you go to their features. It takes you here, 1847. Okay, so we'll go to this feature. Then there's these different visual finders. Okay, for a bunch of early U.S. stamps from the beginning all the way onwards, right? So I believe I went to this guy. Yep. And so visually, you're just literally trying to find your stamp. I saw that one, but there's no triangles. I think this one might be the ones with the caps on the twos. I could be wrong. But here, that looks like our stamp, okay? Woohoo! So, here we are. Wait, it took me here. There's no triangles there. What's going on? Don't quite understand that. Oh, look, up here at the top, more information. 1894 First Bureau issue triangles. Okay, and then you can scroll down and say, "Ah, look at that looks right." Well, I was looking at this big table of, oh my gosh, all this information. Wow, pretty crazy. But once again, at the top, they have it broken down. Look at different types, and they're talking about specifically what we need. Type 3 versus 4 of the 2-cent stamp. And boom. So you got to do a little bit of digging, but in this 1847 USA website, but you will eventually find incredibly useful tools. Now, here you'll see it lists out all the different things you can look for, okay? If you click on it like this, number one, line in the hair, it's going to give you an exact reference. How beautiful. So let's see if we can determine here what we have. Type 3. The line in the hair at center is slightly shorter than the line below it. The line in the hair at center? They must be talking about this line? Or maybe this line. Maybe this line. I don't know. It's a little confusing, actually. Okay, so now let's let's see here. Type 4. The strong line at center is longer and has been strengthened as well as extended. They've got to be talking about this line. This one right here. They must be. That sticks out to me like quite clearly. That has been lengthened. Jeez. Okay, let's see what it says. This is the main distinction separating type 3 and 4 stamps. This line must be stronger and longer than the line below it to be a type 4. I can only imagine that's what they're talking about. It says the strengthened line may not always be as obvious as in this example, and if so, check the other areas for confirmation of type. Interesting. So we can look for this hairline, perhaps. Okay, so I'm going to stop the suffering here. I went through every differentiator on that table, and man, we are. I mean, it is really subtle stuff. Gosh, dang! Even with a microscope, would a pain in the butt. I have decided to fall back to the first one, which is the hairline, and looking at what is in front of my eyes, and you guys are seeing this. I am going to go ahead and say this is a type 3. Could be wrong, but that's how I feel about it at this point. I don't want to spend much more time on it. I'm pretty confident it's a type 3 because that hairline really, really should extend outward. Um, from here, it should kind of go out further. Okay? And it stops right there. And so from the picture that I'm seeing, it sure looks like we have a Type 3. Not only is it bolder, but they extended it in Type 4. And I don't see that here. So I'm going to say this is a Type 3. I think that this was misidentified formerly by somebody. And totally understandable because holy moly, what a total freaking pain in the butt. Jeez, man. Unbelievable. I had no intentions of getting caught up in this for this review video. But you stamp collectors out there will probably appreciate that. I made the effort because I wanted to. That was the plan, was to properly identify this thing. And what the heck? Now, there's one thing that I kind of a stone I've left unturned is for one thing, does this have a watermark or not? Apparently, that can matter. Look at this. Oh, look at this. Dang it, you guys can't even, look at right there. He says it's Type 3. Somebody actually wrote that on the back. Can you see that? Type 3. It's way easier to read without it being under the microscope, but that's what that says. Somebody wrote that in pencil. Isn't it interesting to see how that looks? Wow. Yeah, he wrote 252 Type 3. And then he wrote $2 value. Man, that's some weird looking stuff. It's so weird when you zoom in like this. Anyways, so I think that whoever wrote on the back of this actually had it right, that it is a Type 3. Maybe when they wrote that, they didn't, there wasn't even a Type 4 out yet. Who knows? But anyway, I'm buying into it being a Type 3. So, all right, enough of that.
So, Jesus, what is wrong with me? He didn't say Type 4, he said Type 3. When I read that, I thought I saw a 1 and a V. So, but no, I think he really did write Type 3. Gosh darn it. Yeah, sorry guys. When I first saw that, I swore that said Type 4. Whoops. I think it's because that center line is a little bit skewed. And anyways, so he did have it right. It is a Type 3. Gosh darn. So, anyways, man, that was the writing I was trying to show you. That was interesting. Okay, cool. Well, let's slip that guy back in there. All right. I wonder if there is something else that we could try to get into. Let's see. What is this? This is a Benjamin Franklin stamp. He says it's a number 246, Perf 12, Type J. Oh God, I'm probably going down another rabbit hole here. Do I really want to get into this? We'll see. Well, hopefully there will be some helpful tool on 1847.usa.com. So before I spend a whole bunch of time and make this video last forever trying to figure this out, I'm going to, in real time, I'm just going to try and figure it out on my own, and then I'll bring you back in and let you know what I find.
Okay, so this one I didn't really end up using the microscope. I was here in the visual identifier, looking at the Benjamin types, and found this guy that actually looks like ours. Here it just says 219. It's like, well, ours has triangles, so here you go. Took me that link up there, which brought me to the triangle ones. So for this one, really, it's 246, 247, or 264. Now, this one has a watermark, so that's a pretty easy way to tell. But if we're talking, is it 246 or 247? Well, the color difference is really what I'd be looking at. Bright to dark ultramarine or bright to dark blue. So luckily, if you click on the pictures, it will show you the stamp, okay? You can even zoom in more and get a look at the color on that. And I'm looking at the stamp right in front of my eyes, and it does not look like that ultramarine, kind of bright, light bluish color. When you click on 247, that looks like our stamp. So, anyways, of all things, I actually think this one is misidentified because of the it's just a color shade is really the main thing. So I would bet my bottom dollar that we've got a 247. The stamp in front of my eyes just simply does not look like a ultramarine shade. It certainly looks like that 247 blue.
So yeah, I'm gonna go with 247, and he did say that was a 246, and he said it was a Type J. I'm gonna raise this up and see if you guys can get just a better view overall of the stamp. See that, like that. That's blue. That's not ultramarine. You know, it's blue. So, anyways, yeah, interesting. He said Type J. I could not. I was looking in the catalog trying to find what's he talking about. I saw some things making me think maybe he's referencing the cancellation that it has, or I'm not sure. But this is where it is just another rabbit hole that I really just don't want to get into. You know, as I look at this cancel, it's kind of hard to see here, but it looks like a fancy cancel. It looks like a cork cancel, kind of slapped on this guy. So maybe that's the Type J. Maybe that's what he means. I don't know. If you guys know in the comments, let me know. What the heck does he mean, Type J? Just not sure about that, and I just don't want to spend all morning trying to figure it out. So, anyways, I'm gonna correct that in this little book here and say it's a 247 because that's my. I'm pretty confident about that as well. It definitely does not seem to be ultramarine shade. Okay, so anyways, let's I'm not going to go and identify a whole bunch of different stamps that just make this video last forever, but here I have a Washington stamp with a cancel, and just to kind of showcase, like, if you were struggling to get a good look at a cancel, trying to decipher what it says, sometimes zooming in really will help. This one you can legibly see on the stamp itself, but here's just what it looks like up close. This one says Brunswick. Brunswick. I guess the K seems to be, or maybe there's no K. I'm not sure. I feel like there should be a K in Brunswick, but gives you a nice up close view of the cancel. You know, here's our actual stamp, little Washington here, a 5-cent stamp. I'm pretty sure that would have said New Jersey. You can see the N. Well, overall, I mean, let's just look at some different stamps, but I definitely am loving this. I think this is fascinating. You know, I think this is, with, in the right situations, I feel like you're really, really going to have a good time using this thing. And again, the screen is huge. That really is something that just keeps standing out to me. I mean, I really didn't expect, you know, I'm like, oh, okay, send me a microscope, sure. 10-inch screen, sure. Man, when it's right in front of me, I'm like, this thing's huge. This is a very big screen. It's nice. Here's a, what do you call this, ellipse cancel? Up close. Kind of that oval obliterator grid, you know. Big oval cancel. And, like, I can't quite tell, looking at the stamp, what the numeral would be. That's either I think it's a 1. I think that this here is a 1. But anyway, let's move on to something else. Let's just kind of grab some random stuff out of this book. This is a little book that I still need to put in my Scott catalog. Oh, cool. Here is a fancy cancel. You can see the rings. I want to go up even more. This brings you up a good bit. I want to see what it's like with a much higher view. You know, because maybe you don't always need to be that zoomed in. So there you can kind of make out the fancy cancel a little bit better. Interesting. Okay, let's get that out of here and let's take a look at this guy. Ooh, wow, a Perfin. Well, that's cool. Man, that Perfin really stands out. But I suppose if you wanted, let's say you didn't want the black background, you could slip a white. Let's say I'm going to put a stock card here. say I wanted to do that. You could always change the background if you wanted, if that would make it easier to make those perfins stand out. Now you can even see the fibers of the paper. How cool. Let me flip it over. And if you were looking for like gum disturbance, if you were trying to evaluate your stamp and nitpick, is it really perfect? Is there a hinge mark? This potentially would help. Interesting. I mean, really, if you were really nitpicking stamps about the really minor details, I mean, I feel like the applications are broad. I mean, maybe you're trying to tell if a stamp has been reperforated. Like I just feel like there's an awful lot of things that this would aid in helping you. So, anyways, I really think that this is a brilliant little thing. It's super cool and super nice that they would send this to me just to give my own honest opinion on it. I mean, a completely unbiased review here. I mean, overall, I like this thing a lot. This is very, very cool. I would absolutely go to say this is superior to the other microscope I was using, mainly because of the screen, but also the additional LED lights. They're great. I mean, it's really nice, and you can see it does make a difference as I move them around and adjust them. How well lit it is. Move them closer, further away, whatever I want to do to get the result that I'm after. So I find this fascinating. Look at all these different stamps. Here's actually a more recent one. This is a Canal Zone airmail post stamp. A little wavy line cancel. And you get a good look at those perfs. Look at that. That's nice. Very cool. Let's take a look at the back. Let's see what the back of this. Oh, there's another application. If you were trying to determine granite paper postage or not, which generally you can tell with the naked eye anyway, but let's say you just didn't want to mess around guessing, this should help you determine that. I don't see any granite paper postage fibers there. Alright, so yeah, I think that should pretty much do it. I mean, I don't know. Oh, I've always loved this one. This is one of my favorites. Isn't that just great? It's just a great stamp. I mean, a really beautiful design. Awesome stamp. Always loved this one. American Indian. I tried to buy a whole sheet of these from Mystic, and it took forever, and I actually asked for my money back. It was like 5 months later, they still hadn't sent it out. I was like, you know what? Don't even list things for sale if you don't have them available. What the heck? So anyway, I got a refund. But yeah, I always loved this stamp. Let's take a look at the back of that one too. You can see how the ink bled through. Yeah, man, it really gives you an up close look. I guess you'd have to decide for yourself. Is it worth it to you? If you're not looking at minor differences on stamps, then this may not be for you. If you're really not looking at small details to determine types of older stamps, then it may not be necessary to get one of these. But if you are, I really feel like this kind of thing is going to help greatly. A really good up close look. You guys know the deal. Anybody who's messed with early U.S. stamps or early stamps in general, I mean, there are some really, really small things to look for. Here's actually another great example is cut squares. My gosh, these have so many different types sometimes, and it can be really, really annoying trying to determine which type you have. This kind of stuff I think is just going to work out really well for those applications. So, anyways, that's what I'm going to call it here. I think this thing is awesome. Do I think it's worth $130? Yes, yes, I do. So anyway, let me get out of this here, and then we'll get back to get me on the camera.
Alrighty. So, that's my opinion. I think this thing is great. I like this microscope way more than my old one. I mean, this is super sweet. The old one I couldn't put on my TV screen either. With the proper setup, this thing could really, really shine. I feel like it would be even easier using a TV screen. Now, one thing I have yet to do is transfer these files to the computer. I don't know if I can just directly plug this thing into my PC and have it just drag and drop the files, or if I actually need to take the SD card out and put it into my computer that way. I'm not sure, so I'll figure that out. By the way, they're going to give a discount code, an exclusive discount code for you viewers, so I'll put that in the description, and along with the links to the product in case anybody wants to buy it. And like I said, I'm not sponsored, so it doesn't matter to me. You either want this thing or not. And yeah, like I was saying, do I think it's worth $130? Yeah, that's not that much money. And as long as the longevity is there, I mean, this is really nice. I love this thing. I think that you guys will too. Are there cheaper ones? Yeah. Are there better ones? Probably. Yeah. For example, I bet you could get 4K versions of this, but I don't know if it's really necessary, you know. So I think at the price point, what you get with this thing is worthwhile. I think it's worth it. Now, you know, just to compare though. Sorry. This was $25, $30 or something. And it gave as good of a view as that one in here. And you can see they even look like the same thing. However, this one only went to 1,000 times. It has 1,000 times power. And this one does 1,500. So a little bit more powerful, but I mean, unquestionably, that thing is superior to this little guy. I would take this beautiful thing with a screen and a base and LED lights, all that, over that little tiny one any day. So, with time, I'll get more use out of this when the occasions arise where I find myself needing to determine what stamp types I have, you know, and it'll occur naturally instead of trying to, I don't know, force it almost with just trying to find random stuff like this. When it does come about and I need it, I'll have it. It'll be here. It's a beautiful tool. Doesn't take up that much desk space. The kind of one thing that like I was saying in the beginning, that as I look at it, I wish was a little bit better right off the bat is kind of this wires and stuff, but this is all stuff that with time I can straighten out and organize, and I could make it much neater and better. Whoops. So anyways, that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this little review. I know it was a lengthy one, and I hope that the guys over at TOMLOV are pleased with my review. Like I was saying, this is unusual for me. I don't usually do product reviews, but it all just worked out perfectly. I mean, I really was contemplating buying one of these anyways, and I really did think that it would be a great thing, and after using it, I can say, yeah, absolutely. I mean, this thing is sweet. It's everything I thought it would be, so I'm pleased with it. And yeah, if you guys are interested, hey, the links are in the description, and
They haven't got me the discount code at this very moment yet, but I sent them an email asking for it, so hopefully by the time that anybody sees this video, there will be a discount code in the description that you can apply to save a few bucks. But yeah, that's it. That was the TOMLOV, what was it, DM9, I believe. So, yep, DM9 Max. Hope that might help somebody out there, and that was actually kind of a fun little hunt. Turned into more than I expected, honestly. With that Washington stamp, geez, what the heck? I don't want to deal with those every day. That kind of stuff is exactly why a lot of people just don't deal with earlier stamps, which is fine. But, you know, if you dealt with that kind of stuff more often, it wouldn't be so foreign. Like, for me, I had to completely bring myself back. Like, it's been so long since I've messed with those Washingtons. Man, without the 1847 USA website, I would probably still be scratching my head. Like, I don't know. I mean, man, that's not an easy one. I didn't know I was going to pick such a pain in the butt stamp there. But anyways, I like I said, I feel confident that it's a Type 3. So I think that we succeeded in figuring out what's going on. And that was it. I will be back later on. Maybe we'll do Kyle's Cabinets next weekend unless I come up with something else. So thanks for watching, guys. I wish all of you the best. I'll be back later. Take care until next time. See ya. Bye.